Today's shir is being sponsored by Isaac Zafir for his birthday. If I recall correctly, he once sent us an email back in the day with him learning with his children in Far Rockaway somewhere. I think it's the same person. So happy birthday. Back to who started this whole birthday thing? Joey. Joey is his kids with the whole birthday. So let's get back to it. Rabbi Yisai, birthdays are also. And Isaac, give me a bracha. Give me a bracha. Today's your birthday. Give me a bracha that we should be zoichet to have many, many more people join the daf. Sponsored by Chaya Fix, Lilu Nishmas, Tzipayra Tzilo, Bas Chano Ve Aharoin. The neshama should have an aliyah. Thanks, Mrs. Fix. Thanks for sharing your son with us. Tremendous asset to the shir. Couple of emails. And then some Siyum announcements. Is Yoel Bergman on today? Anybody? Yeah. Oh, so we got to start with Yoel Bergman's email. Dear Belly Shlita, so Yoel Bergman is a kid from Chicago that comes on every single day. He's basically, if you're on Zoom, so you know he runs the whole show. He's a co-host. He's the main star. And he writes over here, I just want to tell you how much your work is appreciated. You make it look so simple to record a full-length shir and then the 8-minute daf. But yesterday I shared an idea based on your shir on the base of Eruvin with 18 others from the MDY Chaver. Although the voice note was only a minute long, it took many tries and a half an hour to record correctly. I can't imagine how much time and effort goes into everything you do for the daf. He sent us a video and it was like 3 or 4 takes he sent us. I also have to tell you that MDY family must be what Rav Meir Shapiro dreamed of when he started Daf Yomi. Jews around the world with a shared language and interest, always on the same page and looking out for each other. Wow, Yoel, what a writer, unbelievable. I hope to continue the daf with you all the way through the end of Shas, one day at a time. Thank you, Yoel Bergman. Otherwise known, we know him as, what do we know him? The Zoom boss. Raveli, this is from Jeff Gordon from Boynton Beach. And what's so beautiful about these emails and what's going to happen with the Siyum is that we're going to be able to put a face to a lot of these emails. Like we hear from these people, we don't know what they look like, who they are, and Be'ez Hashem, we're going to get to see Jeff Gordon himself. This is a very emotional video actually when different guys from the team that saw the video told me they choked up when they watched the video. Here is a little bit of an email. He says, Rav Eli, just a short email as you get enough long ones to keep you busy. First, thanks for being a great reason to keep the streak going. I started with the cycle and never imagined I would still be here as I didn't pick up a Gemara since high school. Now, Jeff, I don't know, maybe he's in his 50s. He didn't pick up a Gemara since high school. Holy cow, I'm still amazed, LOL. Anyway, my small question is that you mentioned, okay, fine, he talks about something, and to answer your question, that guy's not in business anymore. Fine. Have a great and safe Shabbos, and thanks again, Jeff Gordon from Boynton Beach. Right. All right. Siyum. Siyum, if everything works out properly, it's going to be the best Siyum of all time. It's an historic Siyum. Once again, we have over 100 different locations around the world. In the United States, 53 already, I think. 53 locations. And in Israel, 24 locations. From the Kotel to Moreshet to RBS. I think RBS is one of the weakest ones, actually, because we're so focused and concentrate on the rest of the world. But people are getting together. Some of the Siyum have well over 50 people and catered events. And we have in Baltimore well over 50. And there's a whole fight whose steaks are larger. The one from Flatbush, 64 ounce or 32 ounce or 60. Kids are massive siyumim that are going to go on simultaneously throughout the world. And we're all going to be misayim together. And by the way, somebody stepped up to the plate and bought the rights to be misayim. Now, I'm trying to convince him to do it. He doesn't really want to do it. He wants to give it back. I think he should do it. But amazing. Somebody donated the $10,000 to the Beis Medrash. It's a tremendous cause. We have a beautiful koil that does chazaras on the daf. It's a whole daf koil, and there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. So Yishar Koyach to him. He wants to remain anonymous, and we all know about the anonymous mices. We have a lot of anonymous people. Yesterday I received a box in the mail, a tremendous gift, tremendous. And I can't say what it is, and I can't say from who it is. And then I get another box in the mail. This one I could say, because I once mentioned, listen to this one. This is unbelievable. Dear Rebelli, this is Yankee Krause from Borough Park. I think he's on the screen. He is. Shkoyach Yankee. It's from Yankee Krause and Eli Dikman. Dikman, I mean. This is Yankee Krause from Borough Park. You said by one of your shiurim that you like heavy marble cake from New York. What a mistake. I can't make fun of my wife. I can't do anything anymore. Rabbi said, I'm just going to be able to talk and learning. Shalom, whatever I say. It's nervayim. I can't make fun of kids on the shiur. I can't make fun of my wife. I can't make fun of my own kids. It's becoming crazy. Like, I didn't want to say what I really like. I was scared if I say the type of pizza, the type of cake that I like. So I said marble cake, even marble cake from New York. So he goes and buys me a box of marble. You should see this box. This box, like this, $400 worth of shipping from New York. It has to be fresh. So I don't know. I don't know if they chartered a plane for this. I'm not exactly sure. So it came nice and fresh. You should have a juicy marble cake. This bakery and got some. You should see how much cake. It's like, okay, Noam already took half of it for the Siyum. I hope they're still fresh when you get them. In honor of the Siyum, there's not going to be any left for the Siyum, I'm telling you that. And by the way, he taught me a new Yisoid. I didn't know about this chocolate-covered mandelbrot. But this mandelbrot is unbelievable. Serious, I'm not joking. I never tasted it because it's mandelbrot. It had a weird name to it. It has like this unbelievable flavor, maybe just from this place. So real quickly, the Siyum, let's talk about the Siyum for a second, just in case you missed the rules, the way it works, is that if you are speaking live, very few people are speaking live. We try to get everybody pre-recorded. Then you're allotted 2 minutes and 2 minutes only. Reb Nachman Seltzer is emceeing the event, and he runs an event like he ran the one for brachas. So you're going to go over 2 minutes. You're going to be talking to yourself basically, and we're going to move on to the next person. So try very hard to limit it to 2 minutes. Imagine, we have 90 people speaking. They're not all 2 minutes, they're all basically a minute. So if you do the math, it adds up to many hours. So if you're going to speak for 4 minutes and everybody's going to, it's not going to work. Great. Even though you are in a live venue. That's one. The way the schedule is going to come out, but we're going to show a video for like 15 minutes that Leon Welcher produced. Then we're going to show video of guys. Then we're going to do the Siyum. Then we have Charlie Harari speaking for like 15 minutes. Then more people speaking. Then live, this, that. And then Rabbi Yisachar Friend. We have a message from Y.Y. Jacobson. We have a message from Rav Gav. We have a message from Rav Shushan from California. B'kitzer, it's going to be a beautiful thing, all run by Reb Nachman Seltzer. And Rabbi Isai, the way we're seeing it right now, we did some test runs last night. The Zoom link that you're using right now is going to work for the Siyum. We're also going to go live with YouTube. So if your picture is not 100% clear because Zoom is causing issues, go to YouTube. It's gonna be live on YouTube with a better software but last night was perfect. Now, if anybody could stick around after this year, we want to do one more test. Just run a video, just a random video, anything. Maybe the guys in the pool again. I'm just kidding. Whatever, one of these videos, and see that if there are a lot of people on Zoom, if it makes a difference. Okay, so anyways, that's it. And also remember, Rabbi Yisrael, change your location. Don't put your name. Don't put Avi Yatzmach, but put Miami Beach, Manchester, whatever try to change your name so that we see the location, not the name, where it's about locations on Sunday. All right, here we go. Today is one of those days we have, I'm not exaggerating, 12 different pictures here, all taken from the Oz V'Hadar Gemara. This is my Gemara that I used, the brown Oz V'Hadar in the back. Unreal pictures, like 3D kind of pictures. I'll show them to you as we go. Very Geshmaka, Eruvin stuff, easy stuff, but Geshmaka stuff. And we're holding Daf Daled, Amud, Beis, 6 lines from the bottom. Hoya Gavaya. Master Mamu Balamatoy. What if your Cairo, your crossbeam that goes across your Mavoi, is above 20 amas? Says in the Mishnah, it's possible unless you bring it down. Now there's another option. You don't have to bring it down. You can bring the whole floor up. You build a platform underneath. So now the distance between your Cairo and your platform is less than 20 amas. You're good to go. Says the Gemara, how much should he put? How much should he build up this platform? What do you mean? If the Cairo is 25 amas in the air, so you need to build a platform that's 5 amas tall. If it's 23 amas, you need to build a platform that's 3. What do you mean, kama yemayit? Says the Gemara, ella rachbay bekama. Of course, you have to match. You have to have less than 20 amas. But how wide does this platform have to be? There is a picture. There's a guy standing next to a ruler that's 20 amas, and he's standing on top of a platform. Rav Yosef Amar tefach. The width of the platform is a tefach. Abaye Amar arba. And Abaye says it has to be 4 tefachim. And now the Gemara goes into 4 possibilities here. They're all connected to each other. We start off with one possibility, and then we say, well, maybe everybody agrees to this possibility. Let's go to the second one. Perhaps the machlokes is whether this platform is only 1 tefach wide, or perhaps it needs to be all the way up to 4, is as follows. So, it's very interesting. What does a Cairo do? Now, a Cairo could either be a heker, meaning, if this is my Cairo, and it's 20 amas in the ear, so I see it. It's a sign that waves. We saw Akiva's flashing lights. Without the flashing lights, it's a heker. It tells me the Mavoi is about to end. You're going into Rosh Hashanah. Or you could say that it's a mechitza. And as we had all the way at the end of yesterday, one of the 3 mechitzos that's halacha b'Shem Sinai is good asik. Over here we can use the concept called P tikra yari v'soisim. It goes down. So this is the width, but halachically it goes down. Now the question is, really, which part goes down? This or this? So when you're looking, if you're in the Mavoi looking at the Rosh Hashanah, is it the part of the Cairo that's closest to you? And therefore, the rest of the Cairo is not somewhere you could go. There's an invisible mechitza that comes down. Or it's at the end of the Cairo, closest to the Rosh Hashanah, that's what goes down. So now every place underneath the Cairo, whatever the width of the Cairo, I could use, and I could carry there. So you have an invisible wall over here, or over here. Let's, hold on. That didn't work so well. Not that I have a better option here, but this is Akiva's Mavoi. So do we say that the wall, this Cairo comes down, just continues a wall over here? Or is it inside? You see my hand inside or outside? The difference is, can I walk under the Cairo? Can I carry under the Cairo? Because if the wall is on the outer side, closer to the Rosh Hashanah, that means I could use the entire Cairo. It's part of my Mavoi. But if the wall is inside the Mavoi, so I can't leave the Mavoi. I have an invisible wall there. I'm not allowed to carry past that wall. But Rashi sticks in that even if you say mechitza, you still have to come onto the heker. In other words, this idea of heker and mechitza are interchangeable. You can use both of them together, and you could use one for Lechi and one for Cairo. You could say, oh, a Lechi is for heker and a Cairo is for mechitza. So they're not inclusive like that. So says the Gemara, let's see how it works here. Man domer tefach kosovar muter l'shtamish tachas haKairo. Rav Yosef, who says that the width of your build-up on the floor is 1 tefach, he holds because you can use anything underneath the Cairo. In other words, the outer part of my beam goes down, and I'm allowed to use the entire Cairo, and therefore I can recognize that there's a Cairo. Rashi sticks in, I'm recognizing there's a Cairo. I need to say it in the beginning this year. I have to remember. Remember, I used to say it Thursday night. Got to continue. Abaya, who says that you need a 4 tefach build up on the floor because you cannot use underneath the Cairo. Therefore, I need a makam chashav on the ground. I'm not allowed to use, so I have to make a makam chashav. Makam chashav, anytime, if it's not 1 tefach, then I'm jumping, my next shear is 4 tefach. Says the Gemara, but right now, everybody agrees that this Cairo is used as a mechitza. The question is, what part of the Cairo? The inner part, the outer part? So the Gemara, another way to learn this, mechlokes. You're permitted to use the Cairo. In other words, it's the outer edge, maybe. Mar Sava Rav Yosef holds Cairo mishum heker. So now the machlokes is what exactly does a Cairo do? Rav Yosef holds that a Cairo is not a mechitza. A Cairo is just there to let you know it's a heker. And therefore, a heker, anything's a heker. It could be a tefach. Why do you need more than a tefach for a heker? I notice as I'm walking out my Mavoi, oh, here's a tefach, Cairo, a funny beam hanging in the air. That tells me Mavi's over. Why do I need 4 tefachim? However, Umar Savar, Abaya holds, Cairo mishum mechitza. A Cairo is a mechitza. And a mechitza is only good, I build a wall for what? You never build a wall for 1 inch. For a 1 inch room, you build a wall for a makam chashav, for a 4 tefachim room. Oh, so I need 4 tefachim below. Ibai Seim, a third pshat, the Kuli Alma, Cairo mishum heker, everybody agrees that even Abaya will agree that the Cairo is just to let you know what's going on here. The heker above, we said, is 1 tefach. That's enough. What about below? Perhaps below, I need more than 1 tefach. Why? I'm not clear exactly why. What would be the distinction between above and below? But below, Abaye says you need a larger heker, you need a 4 tefach heker. Where above, all you need is 1. The Mar Sovar, Amir Nekesh Shemato, Heker Shemalo, Mar Sovar, Amir Nekesh Shemato, Heker Shemalo. Vibai Seima, 4th pshat. The Kuliyam, Amir Nekesh Shemato, Heker Shemalo, they match. If above is a tefach, below is also tefach. We have another technical problem. Imagine if you put 1 tefach worth of wood on the ground. If it's 99.9% of a tefach, no good. It has to be a full tefach. So once you put a piece of wood on the ground, people start stepping on it. Within a few hours, you're going to reduce that piece of wood by a fraction of a millimeter. And you just made your tefach puzzle. It's no longer good. Says Abai, you know what, let's be certain that this remains here for a little while. Let's put 4 tefachim. It's exera, but it's not necessary. If you're only going to use it for a millisecond, then it's okay to use a tefach on the ground. Abai is just being realistic here. It's not going to work to use a tefach. You need something more. Next sugya. Okay, here we go. Eruvin stuff. Eruvin with a bunch of pictures. Same idea, same problem. Just a little different. Instead of the Cairo being 20 amos in the air, now we're bringing the Cairo all the way down to 10 tefachim. One idea is to raise it up, make it a little bit higher than 10 tefachim, then it's kosher. Another idea, this guy is a mishugana, he has nothing better to do with his life, so he digs underneath the Cairo. He digs. Now I'm talking about a bunch of short people, I guess. 10 tefachim, what's 10 tefachim? Fine. He digs. How much do you have to dig? So, kama choykik. How much should he dig? Again, same question. Kama choykik. Kama detzarech. If the Cairo, let's say, is 9 tefachim off the ground, so you must dig 1 tefach. If the Cairo is 8 tefachim off the ground, you have to dig 2 tefachim. So what are you asking me how much you have to dig? Says the Gemara, same answer as before. Elo mishchay bekama. How wide do you have to dig? Do you just dig the width of the Cairo? Do you dig more? So Rabbi Yosef Omar ba'arba tefachim. Abaya Omar ba'arba amos. Oh, over here we have a completely different machlokes. Is it 4 tefachim or 4 amos? Before, the machlokes was 4 tefachim or 1 tefach. All of a sudden now, the machlokes is 4 tefachim or 4 amos. What's going on? Why? What? They should have the same exact machlokes. 1 tefach or 4 tefachim, let's say. Explains Rashi. Before, we had a real Mavoi. walls that go all the way through and through. The problem was the Cairo was too high. Okay, so you need 1 tefach and 4 tefachim. Over here, you don't have walls because the walls are the height of the Cairo. Rashi's learning. So the walls are 9 tefachim. So you never had a kosher Mavoi to begin with. So in order to make your entire Mavoi kosher, the walls that go through and through the Mavoi, I need 4 amas. I need 4 tefachim. 1 tefach is not going to do it for me today. Abaye Omar Bar Amos. So the Gemara Leima, but the Rebbe Ami, Verb Asi Komifligi. Perhaps. Also, there's a picture for this. Not that it's necessary, but here's a guy standing. You see how short these walls are? So these walls are not real walls halachically. Says Rashi, therefore I need to dig 4 amos deep into the Mavoi. And now I just made walls that are 10 tefachim tall, and now I have a proper wall. And this Cairo over here is going to be a proper Cairo, a proper Mavoi. So we have a very interesting shaila here. Oh. So, I mean, these guys did an incredible job here. All 3D. So you see right over here, there's a massive gap. Does that ruin it? Now, a doorway in a Mavoi doesn't ruin it. Even though people are going to start walking through the doorway, they're going to make a shortcut. So that doesn't ruin it. What ruins it? Says the Gemara, Im yesh shom pas arba, if you have 4 tefachim, matir bepirza adeser. So, right over here, you see this wall holding up the Cairo is 4 tefachim wide. So if it's 4 tefachim wide, I could have a massive gap over here that's 10 amas, 20 feet open. What's the pshat? Beautiful. Because 4 tefachim is a makom chashuv. The Cairo, here you have a tiny Mavoi. Look at this Mavoi. It's 4 tefachim by this Cairo by 4 tefachim. You have a Mavoi. So once you have a Mavoi in this area, then my Cairo works. And the fact that I have a gap over here doesn't hurt me. So people could use it. People leave from there. They won't. At the end of the day, I have a nice Cairo in my Mavoi. Excuse me. Let's say you have a tiny little piece right over here. It's less than 4 tefachim. So once again, your Cairo doesn't work as a Cairo because it's not being a Cairo to a rishos, because this piece of wall is less than 4 tefachim. So it depends. If the gap is tiny, it's less than 3 tefachim, the gap, then I always can pull out my lavud. Lavud works everywhere, in a sukkah, in a mavoi, everywhere. So I bridge the gap with lavud. But if it's larger than 3 tefachim, I can't bridge the gap anymore. So this mavoi is puzzle. I don't have a Cairo for a proper area and have a large gap, and now people are going to walk through that gap. Now I'm concerned that people are going to use that as a shortcut. The shortcut now bothers me. Why? Because I don't have a proper opening to my mavoi. Before, if it's 4 tefachim, so I have a nice entryway to my mavoi. I have a 4 tefachim entryway with a Cairo, everything's proper. Yes, this is a shortcut. That shortcut doesn't bother me. But if I don't have an entryway, it's not an entryway. What? Just because you put a piece of beam there, but it's attached to 3 tefachim, that's not an entryway. So what does it say here? Rav Yosef Islay the Rebbe Ami. Rav Yosef is going to hold that what makes a mavoi? 4 tefachim. We just said all you need is 4 tefachim. 4 tefachim makes a mavoi. Abaye says no. 4 tefachim is not enough to make a mavoi. In order to make a mavoi, I need 4 amos. So Abaye doesn't hold it. This whole Rebbe Ami. He takes this halacha. This doesn't work for Abaye. If you have 4 tefachim over here, according to Rabbi Yosef, that's enough to make a mavoi, and therefore this mavoi is a perfect mavoi. According to Abaye, there's not enough. I need a massive wall. I need a 4 amma wall. Only then is it a mavoi. Amalach Abaye. Says Abaye, no. You could answer. Hasam soif mavoi. In this case right over here, there was a proper mavoi. What happened one day? The wall fell down, and I have a big gap. But at one point in time in history, this Mavoi operated as a good Mavoi. So in order to passel it, I need a massive gap. And I'm asking that 4 tfachim is enough in that case. Why? Because it was a kosher Mavoi once upon a time. Over here, you're trying to create today a brand new Mavoi. It was always 9 tfachim, let's say. That's not a proper Mavoi. It doesn't have the proper height. You want to create something new. To create something new, you have to go all the way to 4 amos. If you have it already and it was kosher, then 4 tfachim is enough because it had a shasa kosher, so to speak, once upon a time. Don't get nervous. As usual, Amud Beis is always easier and shorter. And I'll prove to you. So he brings 2 proofs to the Shita. That you need 4 amos. 4 tfachim is not enough. The Sanya, a Mavoi nitla belechi v'Cairo, achiyu botim v'chatzeres psuchim l'toichai. So, in order to have a proper Mavoi, says the Gemara, you need to have houses. 2 houses open up into a Mavoi. Another 2 houses open up into a Mavoi. And these 2, I'm sorry, did I say Mavoi? Sorry. 2 houses open up into a Hutzer. A front yard is called a Hutzer. What's a backyard called in Gemara language? Does anybody remember from Shabbos, from like the last daf from Shabbos? Backyard. When I tell you, you're going to say, oy vey. Backyard is called, Rashi over here says it, muktzah. Because that's where you put your stuff, you store your stuff for a long time. Anyway, it's called a rechava, called a muktzah. So the 2 front yards open up into a Mavoi. In other words, in order for a Mavoi to be kosher, look at these doors, 1, 2. It's 4 houses. 2 houses open up to 1 courtyard, plus another 2 houses into 1 courtyard. The 2 courtyards into 1 Mavoi. 2 doors equals a proper Mavoi. Says Abai, amazing. What are you going to tell me? That you have exactly 4 by 4 Mavoi. How in the world could you put 2 doorways in a 4 by 4 Mavoi? A doorway needs to be exactly 4 tfachim opening. That is a doorway all over Shas. How do you have a doorway in a 4 tfachim area doorway? The opening has to be 4 tfachim. What about the jam? I call it a jam. In construction, it's called jam. You call it whatever you want. A doorpost. Doorpost is also part of it. Where's that going to fit? The opening has to be 4 plus a jam. Takes up another 2 inches. It's not going to fit in a 4 tfachim by 4 tfachim. Picture. See the 2 openings? Right down here is 4 by 4, a tiny little Mavoi. This is your Mavoi. Opening from here, but there's no jam. Doesn't leave me a jam. Says the Gemara, you need 2 chatzeres opening into a Mavoi. You need a jam. Says the Gemara, beautiful. You know what? Your Mavoi is 4 by 100. It's very, very narrow, but very long. And now I have 2 doors open to it. Says the Gemara, that's not a kosher Mavoi. A Mavoi has to go this way, not sideways. It's long and narrow. There's an opening at the end. Not a very wide Mavoi. This is not a kosher Mavoi. V'amar of Nachman, says Rashi. Naktinon, we know, says Rashi, it's a Messiris b'yadeinu. Uminig Rabbi Seinu. It's a minig Rabbi Seinu. We have a minig. I have a Kabbalah from my Rabbi. Has to be narrow and long. Rabbi Yosef, the pasuk lu b'keren zavis. Oh, so this is the most complicated part of the whole sugya, but also very simple. Basically, what Rabbi Yosef does is makes this piece narrow. If you make this narrow, it doesn't extend to here. So you see these bricks over here? It's 4 bricks, 4 tfachim. Says Rabbi Yosef, but I go on an angle. I go like this on an angle. The angle of 3 tfachim by 1 tefach is 4 tfachim. And therefore, that gives me a little bit more room for my jam. Right over here, I got jam. So I have a doorpost. This is my doorpost. And here's my opening. I have a gap within a 4x4 tefach mavoi, I could find a way to have an opening. The airway is 4 tefachim, plus room for a jam if I go an angle. Because angles give me more room. So who told you that this wall is completed to here? I'll open up the wall a little bit, and I'll use the opening on an angle. And now, in a 4x4 mavoi, I can fit in 2 doors, plus their jams. Not a problem. Yeah? Understood? Okay. Okay, great, done. Comes Abai says, I have another raya. Raya, that's raya number 1, which Rav Yosef argues. But, by the way, the Rishonim over here say, well, we'll see in a second. So, Abai says that since a Mavoi is only 4x4, if you say it's 4x4, I can't fit 2 doors in. If I can't fit 2 doors in, that means a Mavoi must be at least 4 amos. Rav Yosef says, I have a funny way to do it. If I do it on an angle, says Abai, who makes doors like that? A Mavoi is never created like that. That doesn't make any sense. He's arguing with his Rebbe. Rav Yosef is his Rebbe. But the Rishonim say that therefore Abai is more la halacha over here because he makes more sense over his own Rebbe, Rav Yosef. Says the Gemara, Omar Abai, I'll prove you, Rebbe, that I'm right. Omar Rami Bar Chama, Omar Rav Huna. Now we have to remember this. Rav Huna says this. Very important to remember. Rav Huna. Because soon we're going to have Rav Huna Bereid Rav Yeshua that kind of argues on Rav Huna. So we have to remember which Rav Huna we're talking about. So as Rav Huna, Lechi haboilet medorfen shel Mavoi. Pachis ma'arba amos, ida mishum Lechi. So, you have a Lechi that's huge. 4 amma Lechi. Now, I just need to tell you the halacha, and Rashi is very clear about this. If I build a Lechi, I could build a Lechi 200 amos long, and it's a good Lechi, it's kosher. So why does the Gemara over here say that if it's 4 amos, it's possible? Because the Gemara is saying that he made it by mistake. He was building a house. He did it to strengthen the house, as Rashi. Didn't want his house at the top of it, so he had an extension to his house. And then all of a sudden one day he said, oh, this extension is going to work as a Lechi. That's not good. You didn't build it for a Lechi. But if you build something for a Lechi, this halacha doesn't apply. Great. What's the halacha? If it's less than 4 amos, even though it's very long, it's a good Lechi. I don't need to use any other trick. That is a great Lechi. Whoa. If it's arba amos, if it's more than arba amos, it turns into a Mavoi. A Mavoi that doesn't have a Lechi. Says Abaya, I just have a source here. It says arba amos. In order to create a Mavoi, arba amos. That's what it says there. If you created a wall that's arba amos, I made a Mavoi and not a Lechi. A Mavoi turns it. How come it doesn't say that if it's 4 tefachim, you just turned it into a Mavoi? Rav Yosef says 4 tefachim. It just say 4 tefachim, you turned it into a Mavoi. 4 amos turns into a Mavoi. Less than 4 amos is not a Mavoi. Rav Yosef, labhuke mitoris Lechi, to take a Lechi and destroy it, halachically, adik arba amos. There you need a long shear of arba amos. Lemehevi lemavoi, to make it halachically a Lechi, to make a Mavoi, afilu bar but tefachim, now you have a Mavoi. So there's not a great raya from here. A Mavoi is a Mavoi with 4 tefachim. You want to take my Lechi that was created, and I said that this should be a Lechi. You want to say it's not a Lechi, then you need 4 amos. Okay. Bufa. We just discussed. If this Lechi was very long, it was a 4 amma Lechi, it's no good halachically. It's not a good Lechi. We're turning to Daf Yomi Beis, sponsored by Shia Greenfield from Green Star Electrical Contracting. By the way, all these things, we have people, not one of us could create what all of us as a whole are doing. You have Fischl from Fischl Catering who came up with this idea. They turn the page, we're going to have sponsors for the next month, maybe even the month afterwards. I don't know, you have to ask Noah Manavi. He's telling me there's people, it's already. So he came up with an idea to raise money. Nachman's friend, what's his name? Eruvin Leibovitz from Borough Park came up with the idea. Zoom Siyum. Zoom Siyum is going to be one of the greatest Siyum of all time. One guy somewhere in Borough Park. It's just the different people, different things. And I'm telling you, BMS, seriously, the box of cake It's cake. In the other box of thousands of dollars worth of stuff, I'm not going to go into it because I'm not allowed to. He put, what do they call it? What is it called? The restriction, a gag order, whatever it's called. No, that's the word. Fine. But the point is the support from people out there, whether it's a Babka and Ben Schwartz who sent me a fan, beautiful. It gives me a tremendous amount of chizuk. Sitting here in the house by myself, without the chevra, it's difficult sometimes. So I appreciate the support.
The whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
Oh, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. 100%. No, it's impossible for one man. I used to edit the videos, and the 8-minute video is just impossible. It's impossible to do what Gary and Noam and Avi and Nachman and all these people and sitting and working for hours. How could one person just can't do it? It's impossible. It's impossible it's the effort of everybody coming together. It's amazing. So Gershon was on vacation. He came back last night at 11:30 at night. I was in his house till 1:30 in the morning. And I don't know what else he was doing. And then he has to be, and he just people just put in, and he drove from Eilat, which is a 4-hour drive, 3-4-hour drive, tired, hungry, starving. He went out to buy Cholta Middle. Anyway, Zok the Gemara. So this is what he said, that if the Lechi is less than 4 amos, it works. So you don't need another Lechi. If this wall is the Lechi is so big, it's 4 amos, it doesn't work as a Lechi. You need another Lechi. Now, where do you put this Lechi? What's the other Lechi? What is it? Where do you put it? You're going to add a Lechi to the giant wall, so you now made a 4 amma wall into 5 amma wall. You didn't gain anything. Okay, so you put it on the other side. Picture. Here. Here's the extending wall. You put the Lechi right over here. Okay, makes a lot of sense. Rabbi Isai, is Eruvin so difficult? What are they talking about? It's so difficult. Oh, people are going to drop out. Geschmack stuff. I'm telling you, you're going to laugh your head off when you hear these speeches. Eruvin is different. Most you vomit and Eruvin. Okay. Feel them in the Magil bad day. This wall. Just the matve or the mavatzerle. You make it larger, smaller. How do you do larger? Feel pshatim and Rashi. Either you make it taller. You see how this Lechi extends above the wall? The mafzer. Look at this guy. A nice narrow Lechi right in the center of the brick of the wall. Okay, that works beautifully because it's a nice hecker. Everybody sees, it extends, it's lower. Another pshat is it's fatter, it's wider. Or the actual stone in the wall. The kids are 2 pshatim in Rashi. Omer Rav Huna b'reder Rav Yeshua. Comes Rav Huna b'reder Rav Yeshua. Before we had Rav Huna. Now comes Rav Huna b'reder Rav Yeshua. So Rav Huna is the one that says that a large wall, a Lechi that's more than 4 amas, possible. Comes Rav Huna b'reder Rav Yeshua. Lo yamaron. So what's Rav Huna b'reder Rav Yeshua talking about? He's going in Rav Huna. He's explaining Rav Huna. Is he arguing Rav Huna? So Rashi seems to say that Rav Huna b'reder Rav Yeshua was Rav Huna's Talmud. If you look in that Goyis V'Tzionim on the side, he says it's impossible. Rava was Rav Huna's b'reder Rav Yeshua's Rebbe, and Rava never got to see Rav Huna. Rav Huna was way before Rava, so it can't be that he was his Rebbe. What it means is Rashi meant to say Rav Huna Rabba, not Rabbe, Rabba, the great Rav Huna, the famous Rav Huna. Okay. It's not so important. Rav Huna, well, maybe it is because Rav Huna would like to explain his Rebbe, not argue on him. And the Gemara later on says that he argues on Rav Huna. When did Rav Huna say this halacha that a giant Lechi doesn't work? If the opening is 8 or larger than 8, from 8 and on. So if I have a 4 amma wall, Lechi doesn't work. Says Rav Huna, amazing. If I have a Lechi that's 4 amas wide, and the actual opening of the whole Mavoi is only 7 amas wide, so how much is my gap? 3 amma gap. I have a 3 amma gap and a 4 amma lechi. Guess what? I don't need a lechi. Get rid of the halach of lechi. I have oimed meruba apart. I have more closed than open. I have 4 ammas closed, 3 ammas open. Beautiful. Why do I need a lechi? I have a mavoi that's completely enclosed now. I have 3 walls, a ches, and on the 4th wall, I have 4 ammas closed and only 3 ammas open. I don't need a lechi. Michael Toivis, no lechi. Says the Gemara, and he adds, I'll prove to you that I'm right. Hutzer. Uma Hutzer. She'eina niteres belechi v'koira. A Hutzer. And we're going to have a whole sugya. And Rashi brings it here. A Hutzer is worse than a Mavoi. You need at least 2 lechis, or at least a giant lechi that's 4 tfachim. But a lechi alone doesn't work by a Hutzer. Nevertheless, oimed, merubel parts works by a Hutzer. If I have a Hutzer, my courtyard is so enclosed that most of it is closed, like our courtyards, like a typical fenced-in front yard, let's say, not a typical one, a nice fenced-in front yard, and you just have one little gap. You're allowed to carry anywhere in your chutzner. It's closed because it's oimed merubal parts. Most of the wall is enclosed, and so a little bit is open. But a chutzner is more chamer. In other words, chutzner needs 2 lechis. It needs a giant lechi, 2 lechis. Nevertheless, oimed works. So too by mavoi. If you have, which only requires a tiny lechi or 1 lechi, so certainly oimed merubal parts should work. Isn't that a good kavachimer? It's a beautiful kavachimer. Says Gemara, well, I could slug up the kavachimer. The what? I'm not going to explain what slug up means. Eventually, if you don't know what it means, you'll figure it out yourself. It means I could knock out the kavachimer somehow. Okay, I don't even know how to say slug up in English. There's certain words that if you don't know what they are, you're new to Gemara, they'll come to you. Don't worry about it. It's a Gemara language. It's fine. It's not Yinglish. It's not Pinglish. People wrote me different emails. Could you please explain the different concepts? No. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Sometimes you just have to figure it out. So Hutzer, wait a minute. Hutzer is not. You're telling me Hutzer, so you need 2 lechis. But guess what? A Hutzer, I can get away with a gap that's 10 amas wide. If my front yard has a giant gap of 10 amas, 20 feet, it's still kosher. Timer b'mavoi, shibertzasa barba. But a mavoi is different. A mavoi, if I have a 4 tefach gap, not a 10 amma, 4 tefach gap, then it's no good. Well, who said a 4 tefach gap is no good? Says the Gemara, it's not true. Who said that a mavoi, a 4 tefach gap, it ruins it? Rav Huna bar Yeshua holds that a 10 amma gap ruins it. So Hutzer and mavoi are identical, just the Hutzer is worse off that you need 2 lechis, and a mavoi doesn't need 2 lechis, and therefore I have a beautiful kavachana. Says the Gemara, wait a minute. I'll tell you why I said the 4 tefachim ruins it. L'manko amrinon l'Rav Huna. Rav Huna bereder of Yeshua was explaining Rav Huna. And Rav Huna holds that 4 tefachim is no good. 4 tefachim ruins a mavoi. Rav Huna bereder of Yeshua, the Talmud, or not the Talmud, whoever he is, came to explain Rav Huna on Amud Aleph. Rav Huna on Amud Aleph says that a lechi that's so wide that it's 4 amos passes comes Rav Huna bereder of Yeshua and explains that's only if the opening is more than 8 amos. But if it's less than 8 amos, I could institute the concept called oimed merubal parts. But Rav Huna himself holds that 4 tefachim is a bad gap in a mavoi. And in a Hutzer, you need 10 amos. So Hutzer is different than a mavoi, and if it's different than a mavoi, there's no kavachimer. Says the Gemara, Rav Huna b'tzasi b'arbas, 4 tefachim. Says the Gemara, Rav Huna bereder of Yeshua, time than Avshei Kamar. Rav Huna bereder of Yeshua, yes, he explains Rav Huna, but he doesn't hold of the rest of Rav Huna. He holds his own thing. So according to Rav Huna, you're right, there's no kavachimer. But according to Rav Huna, bereder of Yeshua, there is a kavachimer because he holds that a 4 tefach gap doesn't ruin a mavoi. It's only a 10 amma gap, and therefore 10 amma gap matches a Hutzer perfectly. And if it matches a Hutzer perfectly, I have a beautiful kavachomer. Hutzer that requires 2 lechis. You could say Oymed Merubah parts works. So a Mavoi that doesn't require 2 lechis, and the gaps are the same, they work the same way, certainly Oymed Merubah parts should work. So if you have a Lechi that's 4 amas wide, but the gap is only 3 amas, then it should work without Lechi because it's Oymed Merubah parts. Rav Ashi, we're just going to finish this. A few more lines, 5 more lines. Rav Ashi Omar, Afilu Teima, b'Mavoi Shmoina, Nami lo tzarich Lechi. He takes it one step further. He says, even if the opening is 8 and more, I could still use a giant Lechi. Why? He says, you take a look at it. Take a look at your Lechi. What do you see? Figure it out. There are only 3 possibilities. Either the Lechi is larger than the gap, or it's narrower than the gap, or it's exactly like the gap. So he says, okay. So let's take each case individually. Let's see what happens. Monafshach. I oymed nafish. If the Lechi is larger than the remaining opening gap, niter ba'omed merubah parts. Then I institute the concept called oymed merubah parts. I have more wall than opening, and it should be mutter. V part is nafish, nidar mishum Lechi. However, if the opening, the gap, is larger than the wall, then use the wall as a Lechi. What's wrong? My amers. So what's your last option? The shavu tarvayu ki hadadi. They're identical. They're both identical. 4 amas to the millimeter. Havli savik devrayim. Nothing is exact. Everything is off by a little bit. So now you just have a suffix. Savik devrayim lahakol. It's not a deraisa. The whole idea that you can't carry in a mavoi is the rabbanon. You're allowed to carry in a mavoi. So you have a suffix here. What's larger? No, not the end of the world. Suffix lahakol. Suffix the rabbanon lahakol. Have a wonderful day, Rabbi. If you could